Hi, Susan for SLC Aquatics coming to you live from the fish room. On Facebook, on my Facebook page, SLC Aquatics, I posted yesterday that something happened to me in the fish room Sunday that has never ever happened to me. I was concerned about adding 13, 18 fish at one time to the aquarium because I didn't know if the beneficial bacteria, if the bioload was strong enough to handle that many fish. Well, I kept doing my weekly water changes of about 20%, and about 6 weeks went by. And Saturday I spent a lot of time in the fish room. I was still working on setting up my new 10-gallon tanks and organizing the fish room with air pumps and sponge filters, etc. And I noticed that this aquarium had started getting a little cloudy, but it was a slow cloudiness. So I'm like, okay, something in the bioload's going on. And so I was still busy, and I got tired working with the new aquariums. So I didn't do anything with this tank, but I came in Sunday to check on the fish room, and all of a sudden debris was being dumped from the filter into the aquarium. And then I immediately got my short gravel vac and began to take water out of the aquarium to put into the 5-gallon bucket, because I knew that the filter media in the hang on the back filter had become overloaded with debris, and it needed to be cleaned immediately because it was just spilling it into the aquarium. The fish weren't stressed, they were fine. So I worked as quickly as I could, took about 5 gallons out, and then I washed the filter media off in the bucket, okay? And then I realized I probably need some more filter floss. And I began to cut filter floss the size of the filter holder as fast as I could. Okay, I didn't even rinse it out. I just stuck it in there with the old filter media. And this is a dual compartment, so I had to do it twice. And so I did that. And I was looking at the tank after the water change, after cleaning the filter floss, and then all of a sudden this filter over here started spilling dirt into the aquarium. But it was worse than that one. So immediately I began to get trusty old gravel vac out again, took 5 gallons of water out, took all of the filter media out, and I had to clean that one. I didn't add any new filter floss, I just cleaned out the filter media. There's a sponge, there's like a 3-inch sponge, and then some kind of bio gravel in a bag, and then the bio rings on top. So I got that one cleaned out. Over in the corner is a big sponge filter. Well, that big sponge filter was covered in this muck. And I'm like, oh no, I've got to change it too. So, you see my trusty step ladder right there. I put the 5-gallon bucket over on the step stool, and I carefully took the sponge filter out Well, I had to take some more water out of the aquarium. So I only took about a gallon, gallon and a half. So I took another gallon, gallon and a half of water out and put it in the bucket. I carefully lifted the sponge so that it didn't knock off too much debris in the water. And I put it in there and took the sponge filter apart and washed it out as well in fish water, right? Whew. When I got it back together, now you see the results of a clean filtration system. Probably, like I said, 10 to 12, say 12 gallons from a 55 gallon. That's going to be probably about 35 to 40%, right? So a 40% emergency water change, filtration cleaned out, and my lesson was learned. When you add a large body mass, remember when we were talking about shipping fish, and if you have too much body mass in the bag, then all of your environmental influences change due to large body mass, less water, more oxygen, etc. So I knew when I added all of these fish to this 55, because it only had one angelfish and 3 cory cats. So all of a sudden, adding 18 fish to an aquarium is going to offset your beneficial bacteria load, your bio load, right? Well, time went by, and it was about 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks went by. And then all of a sudden that stuff started dumping into the aquarium. After the second filter and then the sponge filter, it hit me. Dummy, you've increased the bio load. They're eating more, they're putting off more waste. You're doing water changes, but you didn't clean your filtration. So I will be getting a chart, and I'm going to keep a chart on my water changes, because I don't want that to happen again. I was so concerned for my fish. I didn't know if I was going to cause disease, lose my fish due to lack of oxygen and all that debris being dumped into the aquarium. So I moved as quickly as I could and instinctively as I could. And from what I've learned listening to others, and just from keeping fish for almost 4 years, you realize when you've got a filter dumping trash into your aquarium, you got to move quick. And I'm just thankful I had enough dechlorinator to handle it, and had extra filter media to add to the old media. And eventually the old media will be thrown away once the new media is seeded with beneficial bacteria. But I'm not in a hurry to do that, because I'm going to probably wait 2 or 3 weeks for the biomedia to build up in the new filter floss before I throw the old filter floss out. And I may not throw the old filter floss out. I may just add it to these 2 new aquariums that I've got to set up to help with the cycling. So anyway, that's what happened to me on Sunday. I didn't get a nap due to that, but a lot of times if you have a leaky aquarium, you have a faulty airline, you have a faulty water change system going on, you have to act, because you're their caregiver and they depend on you. So that's what happened in the fish room at SLC Aquatics, #FishFamMom on Sunday. I hope you learned something with me in this episode. And as you see the evidence, that's the cleanest this tank I think has ever looked in a long time. So, love you. See you next time.